Hey everybody, welcome back to the Veritas 21 podcast. Last episode we did dating in the XYZ generation about timing, and we did a little bonus segment here at the end just talking about sex. We know that sex is a very important part of relationships, but I want to clarify through this conversation. I'm 100% transparent about my sex life and some of the things that I do when they aren't right. In fact, I battle with them all the time, but that is my personal battle that I have to deal with. I am a man. I have sexual desires just like anybody else, but this whole platform is built on transparency. With that being said, I want to make it very, very clear that waiting for marriage when it comes to sex is probably the most important thing you can do, one, for yourself, and two, for the relationship. It skews so many views on how we see that other person. So don't be thrown off by this conversation, and if you're sensitive to a conversation like this, probably move on to the next episode. But I do want to say thank you for those of you that have supported the Veritas 21 podcast. This is not necessarily what I want to get out, but I think that it's something that needs to be talked about. And you guys can kind of see some of the transparency of things I battle with. I'm just like anybody else. I'm not going to sit here and preach and say I am a perfect person, but God calls us to marriage before sex. Here we go. Let's go back to this episode. Again, it's a bonus right at the end of our conversation. Had a good time. A lot of fun recording this one. Okay, little bonus. We just thought about this. At what point should you sleep with somebody?
Shoot.
When you're good and ready.
When you're good and ready. I think, so there is, everybody's different. And, when you're really in, it's not, I don't know if Fa is abstinent or not. I'm assuming she's not. Just say it.
That's a big assumption.
So I think if you're really into somebody, you just kind of go with the flow. And say you guys go out to dinner, then you go to the beach and watch the sunset. Like, you're having an awesome
So you're like
night.
First night, first date, as long as we end up on the beach.
No, this is maybe at least second. If it's the first night, then something's up. Like, one or both of you are just in for
if you're there for fun first night, if you want to respect you, make them wait.
Yeah, exactly.
Two, I think if you jump into sex too early, I think that it also skews that decision making on that person. And not necessarily always in a bad way. I mean, also in a good way. It's also like, wow, that sex was great. I should get in a relationship with them, And I think doing that, you still have to be extremely.
You don't ever want to talk to that person again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I've been with girls for one night before, and that compared to being with a girl even for a couple weeks before you sleep with each other,
totally changes the perception.
Yeah, there's a lot more to sex than just sex. I mean,
exactly. And as I've talked about in prior episodes about disconnection and just hookup culture, I think it makes you feel empty, and I think that it also, you lose the value of the other person when you immediately jump into that.
There's very little satisfaction.
Exactly.
Maybe even like detrimental satisfaction.
I would say that it's super detrimental, whether it was a good night or a bad night.
Yeah, but Hollywood is going to tell you that sleeping together instantly is fun and just as exciting as you guys intimately having sex. And that's absolutely not the truth. If I were to put my sex life out there on the line, I would say the best sex I've ever had in my life is when, seriously, the best sex I've ever had in my life was when I was so involved mentally, emotionally, and physically into that intimacy where I could just look at that person and be like, wow, it's not even about the sex. I am sharing me with you, like everything about me with you. Yeah, I don't know.
Definitely. No, you see her as more than you see her, or that person as a beautiful person. So it's definitely more than just sex. And
Right.
going back to the pheromones, you guys are sharing so much more than just physical touch.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Connection. There's chemicals in women's bodies. I haven't heard of males, but in women's bodies that
It's all
connect
in the
them
head.
connect them emotionally
It's all in the
to
head.
the
And
male.
in
You
a
know,
perfect world, and nobody has to agree with me here, but in a perfect world, I wished that I would have waited till I got married. And the reason why is because now I've been in multiple relationships. So, and I've been quote unquote in love with these multiple people, and experiencing sex with them during that time now may skew the way that I actually view my wife, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think like,
To all the listeners out there, virginity rocks. Stay abstinent. It's not worth it. Just respect yourself a little bit.
one day it shall happen.
But that's serious. Just don't bother.
Okay.
So if we're gonna all three agree on a timeline for sex, so what are we gonna say?
Marriage.
How are we gonna?
Ideally, marriage. Hypothetically, or like reality, where what actually really happens.
Reality.
I would
Maybe a week.
The date 3.
Is that bad? Date 3, date 4.
I mean, maybe. I just kind of
Date
go with
3
the
is a good
flow. It could
ballpark,
be.
I think.
It could be the. For me, it could be the first night, or it could be the 12th date.
Yeah.
It just depends on where things are at.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus, if they're pretty or not.
And your moral values, like
Right.
maybe you want to get with this person, but the other person is abstinent or wants to wait. You have to.
That's a whole.
So they have
age,
they have their own standards
as
for the
long
time.
as it's a self-respecting situation. Do what you're gonna do.
Right.
Don't be drunk.
And
Don't sleep with somebody
if
drunk.
the boats are rocking, don't come knocking.
I'm weird. I'm weird anyways. Like I can't even imagine having sex with somebody like just for nothing. Unless like it's a drunk night, picked up a girl at the bar or whatever. Like that's a whole different story. But if I'm dating somebody, like I have to like feel a connection with them. Otherwise, I'm just not even interested in sex. No.
Yeah, it's same.
Now, I'm a guy. It doesn't mean I don't go home after the date and I'm like, damn, I wish I would have had sex with her, I'm not going to say that I'm a perfect guy, but like, I also know in myself that I wouldn't be satisfied or happy in that situation.
I'll share this. There was a girl maybe a month and a half ago. I call her San Diego. But we went out and she came over and it was dark, blah, blah, blah. Long story.
And she looked real good in the dark.
She looked good in the dark. And then we got in my room and she didn't look like her pictures online at all. So I just thought like, okay, screw it. I'll just go for it, just to do it. And then I left. It was the detrimental satisfaction. So
it was the worst. She came the next morning. I asked him about his date because he was so excited for this date, and he was like,
"Yeah." I was listing all my regrets instead of all my accomplishments.
So you didn't sleep with her?
I did.
You did? Okay, hold on. What was she like? Anything you need? Like what? Just tell me what you need. Like I'll do whatever you want me to do.
No, it's like a Tinder thing.
Yeah.
So it's expected.
Yeah.
It was. She came to Kauai in the rainy season. She didn't realize it. It was raining all week when she was here, and she's like, literally said this like, "Well, I might as well just hook up, or I guess what else can I do? I guess I can just hook up with somebody." Well, I started a Twitch account, and I got weirdly popular within 3 streams. And long story short, I had like an average of 78 viewers in 3 streams.
Uh-huh.
And so I was on there one night, and I was in Oklahoma, and I was just talking before bed, and I had like 86 viewers. So I was like, guys, I'm going to tell you something. I got to tell you about a one night stand I had recently. And I went on with this story. Little did I know my mom was watching. So yeah,
That's good.
she texted me about it the next day, and I was like, "Oh my god, how did
Jake,
you even
we need to
find
She's
that?"
like, hey,
Yeah.
by the way, I was viewer number 83.
Yeah, I was watching your podcast. Oh my god.
Oh,
Nothing
that's so
283.
funny. All right, you get denied, okay, by a person that you've been having sex with, and you guys have been in a little bit of a relationship. Not really, you're not fully committed, but it's kind of getting there. And do you think like makeup sex, like with somebody else, is like a good thing, or do you think that's unhealthy?
Oh,
Is
like
that bad?
rebound stuff?
Yeah, like rebound stuff.
That's really gray area there, my
I
friend.
have a good story about this.
Yes,
Good
do tell.
experience. So, I was dating a girl the girl I dated for 3 years, and we broke up for a month. And I ended up seeing this other girl who was just perfect. She was the one that got away. But anyways, I start seeing her, and we were really into each other, and we ended up hooking up a lot of times, and then my girlfriend of 3 years that we were on the break with, she texted me, and I instantly got back with her, and I told the other girl, "Hey, I'm sorry, but I'm getting back with my ex." I just told her the truth. I don't know. I was kind of looking for a rebound, and I feel like I kind of played with the girl's feelings a little bit. I felt really bad.
That's what I
As
was
far
about to
as the
say.
legality of like relationships go, yeah, it's fine. But as far as like being a shithouse,
Yeah.
okay,
And
shithouse.
that's my
I
thing.
felt
Like
really bad.
I feel so bad knowing that I just led somebody on and I did that with them, and then I'm like, hey, by the way, I'm not interested in you. Goodbye. Or like
Like even if
ghost.
you're just like hopping one to one, just trying to fill a
Right.
void, it's still like you're kind of
So
I don't know about that.
in the hookup culture, do you think that it's healthy to have the conversation first and be like, hey, no strings attached,
Oh yeah.
Oh,
just clear
definitely 10 out of 10.
Oh yeah.
Yes. You
Yeah.
don't want somebody knocking on your door at 3 in the morning like, I had a really good time last night.
right? Like
Pretty much every guy online is going to say within the first message, either they're going to say something sexual or they're going to be normal and say, "Hey." But isn't that the truth? Like, they're going to try to hook up.
Well, it depends if you're bad at texting or not. But, well, at least I've made it pretty clear. Opening up
Yeah.
about what I'm trying to do.
Oh, so you'll just be straight up like, hey, I'm looking for a hookup, nothing else, like just something casual.
If that was something I was looking for, I'd let them know. If that's not, then I let them know.
Mm-hmm.
But that's because, like, dating apps are just trash. You gotta
Yeah.
let them know right away, or else you're just wasting time.
Cream of the crop.
And then you might get an unsolicited picture that you're just
Right.
like,
randomly
I
at
let
your family dinner.
family
Oh
dinner.
my god!
yeah.
Cucumber.
I let the situation dictate. Like I do not exhaust myself to try and get sex. Like if it happens, it happens. But I definitely do not go out like a tool looking for it.
Yeah.
I just I want to see if she can hold a conversation because ultimately I know what I want, and that's a relationship. And that is it. That is all I have for you guys on this episode. I know that it kind of cut off right there at the end. There wasn't a really good ending point in this conversation that we were having. I wanted to wrap it up and again say what I said in the beginning, that ideally we wait until marriage and honor God in our relationship. That is the most important thing we can do, especially in this culture that is overly sexualized. All right, guys, thank you very much for tuning in to the Veritas 21 podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode and enjoyed and appreciated the transparency that all three of us shared, Fa, Jake, and I. It was a fantastic conversation, and I appreciate you guys tuning into this 2-part series and this little bonus episode. Go ahead and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, subscribe on YouTube, hop on Instagram and follow the Veritas 21 podcast. You can also follow my personal page. It is Brick34Levy on Instagram, where I also post daily updates and daily quotes from my daily journaling. Alrighty, guys. Thank you very much. God bless. And I appreciate all of you guys so much for listening to the Veritas 21 podcast. You guys have a great rest of your week, and may grace be with you.